Hello everyone. In today's video, I would go through the steps required to install a Pega Personal Edition within a Mac OS based laptop. Now, I actually had created an article for this a few days back, but some people have told me that they have found it a bit confusing to go through the steps and do exactly what I had told. So I would henceforth just go through the steps again in this video and explain how the Mac OS a personal edition can be installed in a Mac OS. Now, some caveats first. If you're using a 8 GB Mac, don't use this approach because it might not probably give you a proper performance. But if you're using a 16 GB Mac or even higher, then this would be ideal solution for you to use. Because I have also used it for the last. I have a 32 GB laptop. I have been using this solution for the last one and a half weeks, and the performance is very fast. So let me just dive into it. I'll go through the steps one by one, and I would explain exactly what needs to be done every step of the way. Before any further steps are made, we need to ensure the fact that we have a Pega Personal Edition downloaded in our machine. Now you can do that from going into the support tool, and you can go into the option called download Pega software, and you can then choose to download the Pega software. You will find that link there. Let me see if I can open that. Yes, you will find the link here. Again, if you don't see the link, that is probably because your organization is not authorized enough with Pega systems to actually get that download capability. You have to go and talk to your account executive for that. But if you do have the link, you have to first download it, and then you have to keep it. Because why? Because there is a folder inside. Again, I have expanded upon that zip file which I get. There are two files inside this data folder within the person edition which would be required: pega.dump and sqlj.dump. Now the first step which we need to do is install Parallels Desktop. Now I already have it installed. As you can see, I have two instances of this running. I will not touch them, but I will create a new instance to make this work. How will I do that? The first step would be to create just click on the new button from there, and that actually gives me some warnings regarding what I can do. And the next step would be to come into this create new option and choose Debian. When I choose Debian and have to choose continue, it will download for like 1.63 GB. Let it download, and then we'll come back with the next set of steps. So I have now installed the Parallels instance for Debian, and what I'm doing now is I did not even press any keys in the screen. Parallels automatically routes me to this screen where I have to create a new password for this user. Let me first do that. You can choose your own password. I'm giving password only. Now, once I do this, as you can see, now it's asking for some ID because it will first run some of its own tools. Let me do that first. Now, once it runs runs these tools, it will then restart the entire server, and that server would then be ready for us to use. Now, so now that what we have done is we have now installed whatever extra tools Parallels asked us to install, and now we have restarted the server. So what I will do is I will log in with the ID and password that we had configured before. Now there are two things that we need to do before we proceed any further. One is we need to go to this activities, go to the terminal, and get the IP address for this box that we have used. So you can do it by giving the command IP space A. You can find the IP address here. So it will be 10.2.11.55.11. So I'll just remember that. And the next step is you have to shut the server up, and then go to the hardware box and change the RAM to about 12 GB. 12 GB or 10 GB or 8 GB also works, but 8 GB might have some issues while doing the server restart and shutdown. So it is best to give at least 10 gigs of RAM, or otherwise 12 GB I think would be optimal. And also I have changed the name. As you can see, I have now changed the name to Debian Pega install. And now the next step would be to start up the server. So I will start up the server again. Okay. Now what we have done is we have now set up the Mac with adequate amount of RAM, and we have also known what is the IP address for the actual box. I mean the VM box that we had created just now. Now there are two ways of proceeding with this further. One is you can log into the terminal again, and you can go to the activities, and you can select the terminal, and you can select the terminal from here, and then you can run all your commands here. But the method I prefer is to use my own Mac terminal, and then SSH into the VM box that we have just created. Now let me see how it let me show you how it's done. So you have to give SSH, then parallels, then @10.211.55.11. This is the IP address which I had used. I had got by doing that IP space A command before. Once I do this, I'm being prompted for a password. You might also get prompted for a fingerprint storage. So just press on yes and proceed with it. Also remember that this SSH method will only work when your VM is up and running. If it's not up and running, it will not work. So I have now done that. I have now SSH'd into the new VM that I created. Now there are certain steps I need to do first before going any further. So first is I need to install Git. So I will use these steps: sudo apt update, it will install some necessary packages, and then I will do sudo apt install git. So once I do that, it says yes, you need to use the space that is given. You can also give y, I guess. So now as you can see, now git has been installed. Now what I will do is I will go to the link that I had given on the article and do a git clone. So let me just go to that link. This is the link. I have it open. I have to go to the code option, get the HTTPS link from here, copy it, and then go inside the folder. I have it open here. Let me just see where I am. I am on the home root folder. Now what I will do is I will first go inside. I will just do a git clone here. I think that will be fine. So this unusually, I think it takes a while doing it, because I've seen that it normally gets stuck for a while in that 65%, 70% range, and then suddenly it will be complete. So once this is complete, we will then proceed with the next set of steps. So now the git clone is done, as you can see, and it's complete 100%. So I will just go into the folder which has been created now, which is this Pega PE. So I will go inside that folder and then run the following set of steps. First, I will switch user but remain on the same folder. Then I will do I will now first now run the install. Okay, let me just first check what are the folders or what are the files which are present within this folder. So you can see there is a file called install.sh. I will run that. So this will go through a lot of steps. One of them, of course, is, for example, installing Postgres and a lot of things. I will not explain what exactly it does, but as you can see now, it is now complete. So whatever has been created here. I will go through exactly what has been created a bit later. But as of now, our next steps would be to now, instead of doing anything further on this terminal, we will first go and inspect what we have. Now, if you, for example, remember, as I mentioned before, that there is a folder which I had created here, and that folder actually has this personal edition, and that actually has the data folder and the data folder has pega.dump and sqlj.dump files inside it. So now the next step for us would be to use this and copy this into our new VM and then start the next set of steps. So let's go into that. Since now we have completed running the installation script, now our next step would be to copy the personal edition files, which are the dump files which I just showed you. Those files need to be moved now to the Debian box which I had created before. Now, how would I do that? I have to first, for that step, I don't need to do anything here. That will come later. But I will simply go to the terminal shell and create a new window. Okay. And in the window, what I will do is I will check where I am. Currently, I'm on my own home folder. I will go inside the folder where everything resides. And I think test folder, I think is the name. Oh. Test folder, and then I'll have something called 11 something, and then data. So inside this folder you will find that I have these two dump files. So I need to run a command which will then securely copy this into the Linux VM. So what I will do is I'll do the following. I will run the following command: scp, then -r, then star.dump, then parallels @10.211.55.11, which is my IP address for the box, and then colon. It will ask for a password. I'll give the password. You can see that it is now copying the files. Since I think one of the files is about 10 GB, or I think not 10 GB. I think it's about 4 GB. So yeah, both of them are now done. So the next step would be to copy this set of files. So now we have copied it into the root folder of the Linux VM. Now we will copy it into the proper folder. Okay. So now that I've copied the folder files, the dump files into the proper folder, I will just check whether I can see it here. You can see these files are present now, SQL dump and the pega.dump files. Now the next step would be to simply do a switch user and then move the files to the proper folder path. So it will be as follows: mv, then parallels, star.dump /var/lib/postgres. So now that you see these files are now been copied, if I do an ls-l, let me see. I don't think. Let me just go to the folder path. You can see the folders files are no longer there, and they have now been moved to the proper folder. Now the next step would be to give us the required access. So what I will do is I'll just go back here and then run a chown space capital hyphen space r, and then postgres postgres this, and then /vir lib postgres sql. Now what this does is it actually gives the required access to the Postgres user to run and execute all the folders underneath it. The access, the required access to the to all the necessary users and everything, all the permission level or configuration level things are done. The next step would be to actually go and make the dump files installed within the Postgres SQL which we have installed before. So let's go to and do that. First step is we have to switch the user to Postgres, and then we have to check where we are currently. As you can see, now we are in var lib Postgres SQL. Now we need to copy the commands given here. I don't have it ready-made memorized, so I'll just copy it from here. So these two steps have to be copied. So I'll just copy this here and just run it. So it is now done. The second one would take a bit of time. So this usually takes a bit of time. Once it is done, we will then go with the next set of steps. As you can see, this has now been completed because both the dump files and their respective trigger commands have been completed. Now the next step is, again, this is an optional step, but I have done it anyway because this actually improves the performance of the Postgres database. So first click on, just give the command psql, it goes into psql, and then you need to type the command reindex database, then Postgres. So it will again go through the steps, and it will reindex all the tables which are present underneath it. So again, this might take a bit of time. Once it's done, we will go proceed to the next set of steps. Now, so I have now gone back to the terminal which was running in my machine, not on the Linux VM, but on my own Mac machine. Now you have just seen that, you know, I have still the earlier command run here for the copy of the dump. Now just go and inspect the folders that you have. So currently I am on the personal edition / data folder, but if I just go up a bit and inspect the folder, I will see that there is a file called personal edition. I think there is a jar file. As you can see here, there's this jar file called prpc_prpc.jar, and then there's another file called personal edition.zip. I'll see if I can find it here. Let me see. Yeah, so I think that so my bad. So that is something which will be found within the jar file inside. So what I will do is I will first unzip the jar file. So you can see that there is a replace readme option. Just select yes. So now you will find that, you know, this folder has been exploded, and now you can see, let me just clear everything up, and you can find that there is a folder called personal edition.zip. So do the same thing here again and do run personal edition.zip. Okay, so now this is done. We will just copy just to do a small bit of browsing of the folders. You can see that there is a folder now called Tomcat, and there's now a folder called web apps underneath it. So this is going to be our main thing that we have to work on. So let's just go with the go ahead with the next set of steps. That we have created the Tomcat folder. Now our next step would be to go inside the Tomcat folder itself. Let me just go inside cd tomcat web apps. Now inside it you will find that there are two war files, this prhelp.war and prweb.war. These are the files that we required. So what we will do is we will have to copy it again to the Debian Linux box that we have created. Okay, so how do we do it? Again, we follow the same route that, you know, we use the secure copy option, scp space -r, then star.war, which will copy all the star.war, and then copy everything inside the parallels box. So parallels at the rate 10.2.11.55.11 it will ask for a password. I'm doing that. So as you can see, it is now being moved. It is now been moved completely. So that kind of takes care of whatever we had to do on this step. Okay, now we again have to go back to the one the terminal where Pega is open. So I will just go to sudo su. So it will, oh, I think I made a mistake, sorry. I need to go exit. So exit. I have now gone to this one. I will now switch. Just copy this. Now I would have, I have now, so I will just find the folder and see whether the files are present here or not. home/parallels. You can see that these two files are now present. So what I will do now is I will move them into the proper folder. Now where do I need to move it? Now logic dictates that, you know, if it was present within the Tomcat folder inside the personal edition zip, it will also remain inside the same folder within the new VM box I have created. Okay, so what I will do is I will simply do this /home/parallels /star.war, then space, then slash opt slash Apache Tomcat, then web apps. Okay, now that I've moved it, now so let's just go ahead and see whether the files are properly present or not. Sorry, I should not have been in. You can see it's there now. Now it is, now that is this is there. Now there are two things which I had actually missed before. Is you need to first also check whether the Postgres is running correctly. So how would you do that? You just need to run this below command. Let me just see if I can run it. So this I mean the command that I'm about to run, that will actually give you I mean just check whether the Postgres is running correctly, and then we will start the actual server itself. Now what I will do is I'll just run this psql/u, then Postgres, then -h, then localhost colon, sorry, not colon, -p, then 5432, then -t, now Postgres. Oh, I think I made a mistake. Sorry, it should be password. It should be Postgres, not pass. As you can see, the SSL connection has been made, which means that the server itself is now up. So everything is done. Now we have confirmed everything, and let me just clear everything up. So the files have been moved, the server is running. It's just a matter now of simply going into the Pega server startup files and then starting the Tomcat, which will then automatically start up all the web apps, like instances which are present in the web apps folder. So let's see, cd then space bin. I am now inside the bin folder, as you can see, and inside the bin folder there should be a startup folder, a startup startup shell script. So what I will do is I will simply run that file ./startup.sh. So as you can see, the Tomcat has been started. You can go to the logs folder. So you can see the file is now running. So let it start. So now the next step would be for us to go into the Pega folders. Now the Pega URL. Now what will be the URL? It will be http then 10.211.55.4. It will be 11 because that is the URL. Oh, that is the IP address. If I click on it, I think the server is still not up, but let's just wait for a while. Yeah, server is now up. Sorry, I needed to give the PR web. Voila. So now Pega is up. So you can log into the Pega folders. I'll have to use install. I'm not saving it. The first time, of course, it takes a while because it is actually now loading your caches and everything. So it takes a bit of time, but once it is up and running, the environment servers are super duper fast. So as you can see now, I have now logged in. The Pega Dev Studio is now coming up. And of course, you will get the, all the log files here. I will not do anything here. I'll simply just log off from here and then go back to the folder that I was using before, and then go to bin folder and then shut it down. Okay. Oh, /. So now I have shut down the server. So that is how you install Pega within a Mac OS. Although the process remains a bit cumbersome because there are a lot of steps, but I have made it as simple as possible because even I'm not an expert on Linux. So I have just followed the steps given to me by Sunil. So effectively now that is how you can do it, but we are trying to see if we can create one installation shell script which will then give you the entire set of steps done automatically. So that is something we are also going to be working on, but this is a very simple way of doing it. It probably would require about 15 minutes of your time if you have everything ready. So as long as you have everything ready and you have a 16 GB laptop or higher, then now running a Pega folder or a Pega server is very, very simple. Thank you.